everyone, I'm Marijay M. Lopez. In this video, we will explore how three countries, Finland, Singapore, and the United States apply peer and self-assessment within competency-based learning. Each country offers unique approaches, strategies that help students become more independent, confident, and goal-oriented. The United States, in particular, emphasizes mastery, learning through reflection and collaboration, showing how digital tools and structured feedbacks within the students' ownership through these global examples. We will see how assessment can go beyond grades. It can become a tool for personal growth and lifelong learning. As future educators, it is important for us to understand how these practices can shape better classroom and better learners. I hope that as you watch this video, you gain insight and inspiration to create learning environments where students are not only taught but empowered to understand how to learn and how they can continue improving. Thank you, and let us begin our journey.
If you look at the 15-year-olds or 16-year-old Finns who are leaving this basic school, most of them have been in special education throughout their schooling, which means that special education actually is nothing special. So you are a special child or student if you haven't ever used special services. We are putting a lot of emphasis on the early detection of any difficulties and problems that the students in our schools may have. And this is a very different policy to many other countries where these measures are designed in a way that they are implemented only when the problems have emerged and are too visible. But we don't think like this in Finland. I think we believe in this early intervention to make sure that those who are likely to be in trouble will be recognized early and provided help and support as quickly as possible.
Se on 2 kertaa 2 kertaa 2. Mitä se on potenssimerkinnällä?
2 potenssiin 3.
Hyvä.
We, as subject teachers, cooperate with the special teacher in cases where we see that an individual student has problems with their studies. It might be problems with concentrating on a theme, it might be reading and listening difficulties, especially in languages and math. What we do is that we contact the special teacher at the very early moment. We call it the first intervention. We talk with the special teacher and try to arrange a time that she or he could be able to come and join me as a subject teacher to my classroom and then focus on the problem.
Nyt me luetaan meidän kaikki vanhat tutut sanat, mitkä me osataan kaikki nämä. Minulla on semmoinen käsitys, että oppilaat tulevat tänne mielellään. Että tämä ei ole rangaistuspaikka, vaan tänne päästään. Tämä oli Allu. Tämä oli Tuuli.
The special teacher is available for a couple of hours and then she picks the student to a separate classroom and helps him or her there. And we also make an individual learning plan for that individual student. And by taking these measures, we try to guarantee that no one is lacking behind.
Ei melkein niin kuin kestä sitäkään, että siinä on 3 muuta hänen lisäkseen. Eli todella niin kuin...
Onko niitä ollut aina niitä keskittymisvaikeuksia?
Ei.
Ei, se on ihan uusi.
The student welfare team gathers on a weekly basis, and subject teachers inform the group with different cases. There might be bullying, they might be skipping classes, they might be learning difficulties, there might be behavioral problems, all kinds of things.
Ja sen takia mä oonkin nyt niin huolissani, koska mä niin kuin näen, että hänellä olisi kykyä vaikka mihin. Hän on hyvin lahjakas ja nyt kun englannin kielikin on tässä alkanut, niin hän tekee kotona ihan ylimääräisiä töitä englannin kielellä, kirjoittaa pieniä tarinoita jo.
And then these individual problems are dealt with case by case in this weekly meeting that every school in Finland has.
Tämä nyt selkeästi hänellä on tämmöinen ulkonäköongelma itsensä kanssa, että hän niinku kokee olevansa turhan iso. Ja mä sitä yritin nyt sanoa, että kun ei tässä olla nyt kauhean isoja ja näin, että ei mitään hätää.
Well, student welfare group deals with any kinds of problems that we see in school, having to do with problems at home or at learning disabilities, multicultural problems. The main value of our student welfare group is to interrupt as soon as possible problems involved.
With this policy, we are trying to really make it easy for everybody to say, yes, I have some areas where I need help now. Is there anybody who can help? Rather than trying to hide these things. And in many cases, when you do this, in the later years, they will come and accumulate even more difficult problems. So I think with this, we have been able to positively affect both the equity of the system and also the quality of the system.
Precision medicine in Singapore is set to get a boost. The health ministry is setting up a task force to develop this field. This is so more patients can receive treatment tailored to their genes. The task force will tackle issues including ethics, accessibility and affordability. Health Minister Ong Ye Kung made this announcement at the opening of the country's largest cell therapy facility at the National Cancer Centre.
On the move are some cell materials that could save some lives. These are key ingredients for the Advanced Cell Therapy and Research Institute Singapore, or ACT3IS for short. It's where scientists use them to create personalized therapies for some cancer patients. And one such treatment is the chimeric antigen receptor T-cell therapy.
The CAR T-cell therapy actually starts by taking out the white blood cells from the patient's blood. This blood product is then sent to our manufacturing facility, ACT3IS, whereby we then select out the T-cells. We then genetically modify these T-cells such that they are personalized and can actually target the cancer cells specifically to kill the cancer cells and help these patients who have relapsed several times.
This new facility spans over 2,000 square meters. It aims to halve the manufacturing time for cell and gene therapies, or CGT. It'll also support hospital services and research. These are part of Singapore's efforts to develop the precision medicine sector. But precision medicine is not for everyone. Some patients may not need it. Some may not afford it. In the US, one-time treatment could cost more than $500,000.
We'll need an appropriate financing framework that is both sustainable and also to prevent a schism between those who can afford precision medicine and those who cannot. Given the nature of CGT, relatively infrequent in deployment and high costs, the solution will likely lie in strengthening national healthcare insurance.
Mr. Ong says it's possible that the cost of CGT could come down in the future, and it starts by building capabilities through places like ACT3IS.
So having ACT3IS brings together the smaller facilities that have currently been operating under a single roof, and so we can start to produce these products at scale, at high quality, and hopefully a bit more efficiently, and so at lower cost for our patients.
On top of cancer therapies, ACT3IS could be used to produce regenerative medicine in future. This could heal or replace tissue that have been damaged by aging.
A health and social policy observer believes it could be risky for the government to allow the use of national healthcare insurance to finance new therapies. Dr. Phua Kai Hong of the Institute of Policy Studies says the cost effectiveness of such drugs remains to be assessed.
The Singapore system was something that was held up as the model, so we shouldn't go backwards. It's good to be in the cutting edge, but we have a very good financing system. But as a society, we cannot justify using hard-earned tax monies and public money to pay for anything unless you have the evidence. So my contention is that if we're going to use insurance to cover this, the authorities have to make sure it is cost-effective and you have the evidence for it.
One of the best ways to make sure your collaboration stays on task is through the use of a PLC planning guide. Let's take a look at how 2 teachers use the guide to reflect and inform their future instruction. Computer, boop, 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 boop.
Last meeting, we were preparing for our summative assessment. We focused on 5 reading literature standards.
Let's see how our kiddos did with the first one.
My students showed a lot of growth on this standard. They went from 40% mastery on the pre-assessment to over 80% on the post-assessment.
Wow, way to go. I thought my students would do well on this standard, but they didn't make the connection between the picture and the mood. Wow, it looks like your students really made a lot of growth. What activities did you use that helped them grow?
This is a thriving PLC because of the trust the teachers have with one another. Notice that there's no judgment and no discomfort with asking for help. Teachers celebrate each other's successes because they will benefit from each other's ideas. They also know how to ask for help.
So here's what the turning point was for my students. For one lesson, I had them imagine the expressions of the characters if their faces weren't visible. Then I asked them to explain why they would have those facial expressions, so that got us talking about mood.
You were getting them to empathize by looking at the illustrations alongside the narrative. What a good idea.
Yeah, I'll definitely do it next time, but might even introduce it a little bit earlier.
And I'm going to add that to my list of improvements that I can make.
Notice how this conversation is benefiting both teachers. One teacher will adopt a strategy that's been proven to work. The other is not only reviewing her successful activity, she's improving it by committing to do it earlier in the year. In both cases, their students win.
Do you have a printout that I can use to help us through the illustrations?
I do. Here, we'll put it in this last column, and I just copied the link for you.
Wow, great! You rock! I'm so glad we get to collaborate. Now, let's look at the next standard. I had much more success getting the students to compare and contrast themes.
Oh good, I'd really like your input.
By using the PLC planning guide, these 2 teachers were able to determine specific activities and teaching methods that were proven effective. This led to some much needed reflection and reevaluation. In the end, both teachers were able to benefit from focused PLC planning.
Hey.
Some problems are just too big and too complex for any one person to handle alone. For these challenges, we need to collaborate. But what does that mean? Collaboration is more than just working together with others. To really work together effectively, especially when resources are tight, we need to invest in good collaboration. Good collaboration means sharing the responsibilities, risks, benefits, and the credit. Good collaboration also means that everyone who is involved works toward a common goal. To do that, we need to know our limitations, leave our ego at the door, keep keep an open mind. Be physically and mentally present. Ensure everyone has an equal voice. Invest trust to get trust. Step out of our comfort zone. Value each other's contributions. There are many benefits of a good collaboration, such as engaged and empowered members, increased capacity to solve complex problems, strong relationships grounded in trust, honesty, and respect, efficient use of resources, and a greater overall impact. Remember, we are stronger when we work together. Alone, we can do so little. Together, we can do so much.